Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Matthew. Thank you so much for joining. Today, we're going to analyze the last 13 plus years of Bitcoin and gold price history, and we're going to do so through the words of Peter Schiff. Okay, so for those that kind of know the space, I'm sure Peter Schiff needs no introduction. Famous gold bug, famous Bitcoin bear. I've always been a fan of Peter Schiff when he talks economics, when he talks fiscal policy, when he talks monetary policy, when he talks sound money. He has clearly made his choice, though, that Bitcoin is not sound money or fool's gold, as he's called it. And look, he's not a dumb guy. So I think the fact that he continues to make these claims, even while Bitcoin continues to outperform gold, and I know for a fact there are many of his clients and former clients that are not happy with him for being so adamant about this position. The only reason I can think that he continues to do it is that he still must hedge his bets somewhere, either to gain more boomer gold clients, or maybe he secretly owns Bitcoin. No one knows for sure. It's definitely a marketing game. There's no doubt about it. Here I'm showing gold before Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoin started in 2009. Pricing didn't really start till mid-2010. So gold is on the left axis here in green. Bitcoin on the right axis in orange. These are not on log scale like prior videos. These are just linear scale. I figured I'd put it there just to, it'd be easier to kind of see as we go through this video. Note, again, different axes. Gold on the left, Bitcoin on the right. So even though you see it crossing here, these are completely different values. You know, gold is $1,800 per ounce at this point. Bitcoin is $64,290 per Bitcoin at this point. Okay, so two different axes. For gold, look on the left. Bitcoin, look on the right. So let's go ahead and, in his own words, let's go through some of the statements that Peter Schiff has made. So the first one that I got is right around here. It's right around here. It's like June 20th, 2011 on his own radio show. He interviewed Donald Norman about Bitcoin. Quote, intrinsically, the Bitcoin itself has no value. So we can see pretty early on here in Bitcoin's pricing history, Peter has not been a fan of Bitcoin. All right, let's move on now to March 2013. Okay. In an interview with RT, Schiff said, I don't think these Bitcoin holders understand money, which is ironic because they're involved in a monetary system. Next month, Schiff was quoted in a Guardian article saying, I have a fundamental problem with Bitcoin. I just don't think it works. I think it's going to implode. May 2013. On his radio show, Schiff stated, the idea that Bitcoin is going to be the money of the future is simply ludicrous. October 2013. Moving out now. Schiff was a guest on a YouTube show where he said, quote, my problem with Bitcoin is that it's not gold. It tries to pretend to be gold. Next month, in November 2013 on CNBC, Schiff said, Bitcoin is a modern day tulip mania. This is a speculative fiat digital currency. January 2014, first time he was on the Joe Rogan Experience, where he explained his skepticism, saying, quote, the reason I don't think people should buy Bitcoins is because I think they're going to lose. I think it's a modern day tulip mania. It's a bubble. Next month, February 2014, Schiff participated in a debate on Bitcoin versus gold during the Sovereign Man Offshore Tactics Workshop. Schiff said, quote, Bitcoin is a digit. It's not a commodity. We don't even know what it is. People say it's a currency, but it's not. Next month, March 2014, in a blog post on his website, Schiff wrote, Bitcoin is being confused with a store of value because the price has skyrocketed in recent months. But over the long term, I doubt it's going to hold its value as well as gold. September 2014. Let's go out to there. Schiff was a guest on the Kaiser Report where he stated, quote, Bitcoin itself has no intrinsic value. January 2015. In an interview with Kitco News, Schiff said, I don't think that Bitcoin is going to succeed as money. June 2015. Schiff was a guest on the Joe Rogan Experience again, where he stated, it's just a fad and people who are in it are going to lose a lot of money. Next month, Let's go to somewhere in July 2015 here. In an interview on CNBC, Schiff said, Bitcoin is not real money, it's just an illusion of money. Next month, August 2015, on his own radio show, Schiff stated, there's no real value in Bitcoin. It's all based on faith. If somebody doesn't want your Bitcoin, there's nothing you can do with it. February 2016. Let's go to the next year. In an interview with FutureMoneyTrends.com, Schiff said, I don't believe for a minute that Bitcoin is the money of the future. July 2016. Schiff was quoted in a CoinDesk article saying, the problem with Bitcoin and other fiat digital currencies is that they lack intrinsic value. Intrinsic value. Not subjective value, but intrinsic value. December 2016, in a blog post on his Euro-Pacific Capital website, Schiff wrote, quote, despite what the cryptocurrency enthusiasts want to believe, Bitcoin is not a new asset class. It's not an asset at all. Now we're going to move to March 2017. I'm actually going to zoom in here. This is a very interesting time. Though it didn't pass in overall market cap, overall value, you should know that Bitcoin's roughly $500 billion. At that time, it was much less. Gold, $10 trillion. It was also less during this time. On a per unit basis, it reached parity. Okay, so it's, let's see if I can find it exactly. There it is. At this point, it reached parity. So you see gold, $1,243 an ounce, Bitcoin, $1,263 per Bitcoin. Okay, it's just a per unit thing. Obviously, these are different assets, but when you're talking per one denomination, kind of interesting that it reached parity. In an interview with Kitco News, Schiff said, I don't think Bitcoin is going anywhere. It's not the new gold. All right, next month, April, gold had a bump here, and you see that Bitcoin is rising as well, but not as high. Let's just pick this time. On his radio show, Schiff said, Bitcoin is not the new gold. Bitcoin is the new tulip bulbs. July 2017, gonna have to zoom out for that. Let's catch it somewhere here, July 1st. In a debate with Max Kaiser on RT, Schiff maintained that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value and predicted its price will crash. September 2017. In a tweet, Schiff stated, just because Bitcoin is digital doesn't mean it's as good as gold. November 2017. A tweet. People who think that Bitcoin is the new gold should consider what happened to gold in the US during the 1930s. It was confiscated by the government. If US citizens couldn't keep gold, what chance does Bitcoin have? Curious thing to say for a digital asset versus a physical asset. And by the way, Schiff well knows that most of the people didn't turn in their gold during Roosevelt's executive order. Nonetheless, very curious thing to say when you talk about something physical that's bulky, hard to move around, versus something that's digital that you can keep your secret of your keys in your head. Nonetheless, that's what he says. I don't want to make too many comments here. Let's just keep going. December 2017, Bitcoin is going to all-time highs. In an interview with CNBC, Schiff said, people who are buying it are going to wake up one day and they're just going to be a bag holder. January 2018. In an interview with The Street, Schiff said, eventually Bitcoin is going to collapse and any demand that it might have siphoned away from gold is going to return to gold. Let's keep going now all the way to December 2018. All right, this was a tough year for Bitcoin. Gold didn't do anything spectacular, but it was a tough year for Bitcoin. Down to $3,000 per Bitcoin here in December 2018. A tweet. Over the last year, while Bitcoin was falling 80% from its peak, several experts were calling for a bottom. How many realized it was a bear market? Now, even with Bitcoin near a fresh low, the same experts claim it's a bargain. Proclaiming Bitcoin is cheap is cheaper than buying. Let's go out to May 2019. In a podcast debate with Anthony Pompliano, Schiff likened Bitcoin to fool's gold, indicating his belief in its lack of intrinsic value. There's that word again he loves using. July 2019, in a debate with Anthony Pompliano on CNBC, Schiff said, "There's no real use for Bitcoin. All you can do with Bitcoin once you buy it is sell it, but you need somebody else to buy it from you." Seems original, certainly doesn't compare to gold. January 2020. Schiff tweeted about losing access to his Bitcoin wallet and wrote, "So now, not only is my Bitcoin intrinsically worthless, it has no market value either. I knew owning Bitcoin was a bad idea. I just never realized it was this bad." And if you're curious, yes, he did. He claims he owns a little bit of Bitcoin that was given to him, but he claims that he has not purchased any on his own. March 2020. During an interview with Anthony Pompliano, Schiff once again argued that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value and likened it to a Ponzi scheme. All right, gonna move to 2021 here, getting close to present day. This is a big year for Bitcoin, July 2021. Okay. Bitcoin and crypto bulls claim the price of gold falling is evidence that Bitcoin is replacing gold as a store of value. But the price of everything is falling now, not just gold. Risk is being taken off the table. When risk is put back on, Bitcoin will fall much faster than gold. Let's go to October 2021. Bitcoin's going back to its second top of the double top. This one is interesting because this is the first time, actually not the first time, but this is the quote that I'm going to use, where Schiff was starting to engage with his son on Twitter about Bitcoin. His son has now become known as a Bitcoin bull. Schiff, even, I don't know, jokingly or not, said he was going to disinherit him. Interesting family dynamics here. Schiff. The price of oil is closing in on $80 per barrel, trading above $79 for the first time in 7 years. But if you look at a chart, this move is only just getting started. The parabolic move higher likely won't kick in until we take out $150 per barrel. That might happen as soon as 2022. And his son replied, "You should check the Bitcoin price. It's crashing below 20K, just as you predicted a few months ago." Nice little jab there from Spencer Schiff. January 2022, this was a down year, as everybody knows, culminating in scam, bankman fraud, and FTX. January 2022, tweet from Peter Schiff. Despite unprecedented hype in 2021, Bitcoin is off to its worst start to a calendar year ever in 2022. Yet the Bitcoin faithful remain unfazed by the carnage, as they have been coordinated to accept big drops as the price they pay for getting rich. So they'll go broke instead. March 2023. Let's just go ahead and bring it to present year. There we go. All the way to just a couple months ago. After again for being called out for his bearish calls in 2018, Peter Schiff claimed that Bitcoin will go back below $3,800 again. And Michael Saylor was wrong for purchasing Bitcoin with MSTR, with MicroStrategy, and not gold. Okay, so quite interesting quotes there you can see across the years. From that first quote from his radio show in June 2011, he's used this word intrinsic value, which is not an Austrian term. Austrians talk about subjective value. You know, a baker bakes bread. He values your money subjectively more than you value your money because you value the bread more than the money. That's why the exchange happens. That's subjective value. That's the Austrian school. Peter likes to talk about intrinsic value a lot. He refers to gold having intrinsic value, Bitcoin having no intrinsic value. So, dear viewer, I'll let you, of course, make your own decisions. As always, never financial advice. Last thing, as we conclude this video, after our dear comments from Peter Schiff, let's look at the gold price versus the Bitcoin price, and let's extrapolate them out based on their best fitting trend lines. If you don't know what I'm talking about, see the immediately prior videos and videos linked in the show notes. Best fitting trend line for gold is an 83% R-squared exponential trend line. Best fitting trend line for Bitcoin is a 95% R-squared power trend line. Okay, so two different trend lines, two different types of data. Bitcoin clearly, without even understanding the numbers, you can tell it grows faster than gold. Again, gold is on the left axis, Bitcoin on the right axis. Just look at this slope, see how much faster it's growing. If we extrapolate out, by December 31st, 2030, you got $4,700 per ounce gold, $640,000 per Bitcoin. That is quite a difference. 95% R squared is huge. It's very, very good. It means the data fits very, very well. Yes, look at both gold and Bitcoin. They are under their respective trend lines at the moment. As of May 2023, gold's trend line is $2,400 per ounce, roughly. The price is only $2,000 per ounce, roughly. Bitcoin's trend line is $52,000 per Bitcoin. The price, $27,000, $28,000 per Bitcoin. All right, and I am giving gold the most favorable trend line I possibly could give. Bitcoin is just the all-time trend line. I'm starting at the beginning. Bitcoin pizza day. But to put these growth rates in perspective, okay, let's imagine. Let's even take out the price. Let's just look at the trend lines, all right? How fast do these trend lines respectively grow? And you know I like to talk about compound growth. You know I like to talk about doubling time. Let's start with gold. If you started with the gold trend line, which is $312 per ounce in July 1999, and you doubled it every 8 years or so, every 8 years you doubled it, you would get to this $4,700 per ounce in 2030. Okay, so an 8-year doubling. What does that mean in compound growth? 9%. 9%. Okay. Bitcoin. Look at this. Remember the axis is on the right side. With this growth rate, with this 95% R squared power trend line, how fast does this trend line grow? It doubles. If you started sub $1 here, this is actually probably even sub penny. I should go to 2 decimals here for you, but I'm not. If you start here at, say, sub $1 in 2010, and you double the Bitcoin price, not every 8 years like gold, but every 0.8 years, you will get to $640,000 Bitcoin on December 31st, 2030. 125% compounded per year. With Bitcoin, this power trend line during basically the same time period, it's the all-time data. I can't go as far back as gold. And again, I'm helping gold as much as I possibly can here. With Bitcoin, we're running a 95% R squared power regression trend line, which means the goodness of fit is very good, and a power curve grows much faster, at least at the beginning, than an exponential trend line. You can see that the rate of growth is still much faster than gold, looking at these slopes. All right. This gold trend line will double the price of gold roughly every 8 years. Bitcoin's price doubles every 0.8 years, every 9 or 10 months. All right. So a respectable 9% compound annual growth for gold, a mammoth 125% compound annual growth power trend line for Bitcoin. This is signal. This is not noise. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.